T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, good evening, everybody. The January transfer window doesn't open for another, what? I don't know. Was it 5 days? 4 or 5 days? Yeah, it's the 26th. It's Boxing Day today. I did not expect to be coming here live this evening to talk to you with such, I suppose, definitive news. What can be more definitive than PSV announcing that they've agreed a deal with Liverpool for Cody Gakpo? Talk about a curveball out of nowhere. I did not expect this to happen. No doubt there's going to be some Liverpool fans up in the comments in here. So I'll tell you what I'm going to quickly do there is I don't want the comments in this video to descend into something which is distracting. So let me quickly just set this there, and then we'll get into the conversation. I'm going to speak through the breaking news with you here. We've covered the Cody Gakpo situation as much detail as I possibly could do. I spoke with Rick Elfrink in an interview that went out on Friday. The chief writer for, I think it's Eindhoven Dagblad, the daily newspaper. And he told me what the situation was. PSV wanted 75 to 80% of the fee for Cody Gakpo up front. We knew that Manchester United wanted Cody Gakpo. We know that Manchester United, in the summer just gone, we agreed personal terms with Cody Gakpo. It was all around the fee. We couldn't afford to sign Anthony and Gakpo. This January, we thought that we were leading the way. And then out of nowhere, it was Paul Joyce from the Times who led with the story of Cody Gakpo to Liverpool. We're sitting there watching the Arsenal game, hoping that they still lose, but they managed to win. Bastards. Anyway, Paul Joyce out of nowhere says that Cody Gakpo to Liverpool is looking likely. And it escalated to this within the space of what? 45 minutes, maybe. Cody Gakpo to Liverpool. Fabrizio Romano's given it those 3 words. Here we go. The deal has been signed between Liverpool and PSV. And if you want even more official confirmation than that, how about you go straight over to PSV's official Twitter account here. PSV and Liverpool have reached an agreement on the proposed transfer of Cody Gakpo. The 23-year-old attacker will leave for England imminently, where he will be subjected to the necessary formalities ahead of the completion of the transfer. Liverpool they haven't even snuck in there. And I tell you what, it fucking pisses me off to say this, but they just know how to get it done. Liverpool have done this. Not only this isn't just with Cody Gakpo. I think it's definitely happened. Was it with Luis Diaz as well, or other transfers? They seem to be able to work behind the scenes. And by the way, this is after Michael Edwards has left the club as well. The man who was, well, as far as we know, was the chief negotiator, the man behind so many successful transfers at Liverpool in the last few years. He's left, and they still are here doing these sorts of deals. What I'm going to do now, this is going to be a very busy and emotionally driven is the wrong word, but we're all reacting to the news as it stands and as it's coming out. And we're pissed off. I can tell by the comments, I can tell by how people are responding here that there's going to be a lot of anger towards this. This feels very much like Manchester United have just sat there, and because we have decided to delay, we've allowed Liverpool to come in. And that's pretty much exactly what's happened here. Liverpool were willing to pay more money up front. Now, there was a super chat that's flown in there. There's going to be so many comments coming in. I'm going to try and be as interactive as I possibly can. But please appreciate I'm not ignoring you when it comes when I'm going down here. Right, you're saying I'm a broken man. I can't believe this has happened tonight. Harold, you're saying there, what's happening to United? Shamim, you're saying it's a big L. They must be going for Felix. We'll speak about that in a little bit. Daisy, you're not happy down there. But let me run through this full article from David Ornstein, okay? This will give us a little bit more detail into the news that's breaking at this moment in time, and then we can have a discussion in the community comments about Gakpo. Because I know there's, as much as there's going to be a lot of you that are angry that Gakpo in the situation has happened. I know there are going to be some of you in the comments going, Sam, he's not who we needed. We need an out-and-out striker. I'm happy that we're not going after Gakpo. Let me run through the news article before we get into these conversations and debates. As I said, I didn't expect to be here tonight. I was out enjoying my last night of my festivities. Hell no. Liverpool, fucking you bastards. Let me read this out from David Ornstein. Liverpool have reached an agreement to sign Cody Gakpo from PSV Eindhoven. Liverpool reached a verbal agreement with PSV to sign Cody Gakpo in January. The agreed fee is between 40 to 50 million euros. Now, the first thing to say about this is two things. One, that's cheap as shit. Now, Leeds had a bid. I don't know why I've got a pen in my hand. Let me throw that over there. Leeds had a bid for 43 million euros rejected for Cody Gakpo in the summer. And I spoke to Rick Elfrink in some serious detail about that. It was about the structure of the deal. It wasn't about the total figure. You can see 40 to 50 million euros. That's not much at all in the current market. That really isn't, especially for a player who has just lit up the World Cup. You would expect that to be significantly higher. Now, the reason that they've agreed to that is because Liverpool are willing to pay more up front. This is what I spoke about in my conversation with Rick Elfrink here. They wanted 75 to 80% of the fee for Cody Gakpo up front. And the fact that Liverpool have managed to come in here kind of out of nowhere and agree this, for me, is a purely financial thing. They've stolen the march on United. And let me read through the full article here before we start getting into the conversation points around it. The agreed fee is between 40 to 50 million euros, and the 23-year-old has been given permission by his club to travel to England for a medical. A statement from PSV said, PSV and Liverpool have reached an agreement on the proposed transfer of Cody Gakpo. He will now immediately go to England. Both clubs are not making any announcements about the transfer fee, but this is a record transfer for PSV. And again, that's something here that we've been saying all along. Rich, you can go. That's a very random comment. Van Nistelrooy has done absolutely sweet fuck all here. This is PSV wanting to do what is best for PSV, and that is getting the most money up front for their player. They didn't want to get affected by inflation. You see how everything's going right now in the financial markets all around the world. Currencies are changing up and down day-to-day basis. It's all very unstable. So what PSV wanted, cash is king. Get the cash in that bank account, and they can then reinvest that money however they wanted to. Because the idea, Man United could have paid 60, 70 million for Cody Gakpo. But if we wanted to spread that deal over 5 years and only paid 10, 15 million, for example, up front for Cody Gakpo, that doesn't suit PSV. That's all they wanted here. They weren't necessarily being greedy. And look, 40 to 50 million euros for Gakpo is an absolute bargain in the current climate, how much players go for. But Liverpool have just, damn it, Liverpool, man. And Liverpool going through a sale as well. Both clubs are not making any announcements about the transfer fee. The PSV management completed the negotiations on Boxing Day and gave Gakpo permission to travel to England. That's the official statement there. Let's see what else is written inside this article. If there's any more information. The proposed club record sale follows his strong performances. Blah 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 blah. Right. Nothing else involved in that we need to run through and discuss. But Liverpool, let's get the official announcement there. We don't need that from. What's your reaction to this in the comments? I'm going to try and read any super chats. I apologize. I think I missed a few super chats the other day. I really don't mean to. Nana, you're saying, can we? No, we can't. We absolutely can't. You're not on this channel. Thank you very much. Kill, you're saying, mate, I was right about Ronaldo and Martial. It's Depay. What? I don't know what that comment means. Let me try and read a few comments down. This is going to be, as I said, a very charged set of comments because people are going to be pissed. People are going to be pissed about this. You're saying that was fast. Eniban, you're saying it's unbelievable. As I said, Jeremy, this has got nothing to do with Ruud van Nistelrooy. This is PSV doing what is best for their football club. Ruud van Nistelrooy is a manager. He doesn't own that football club. JG, you're saying the Glazers already said they weren't buying anyone in January and preparing for the summer. Not surprised by this news. We absolutely should not be surprised by this news. If you've been watching the channel and you've been watching everything that I've tried to cover here. I've gone in detail into looking into Manchester United's finances, right? Let me just explain this to you quickly here. For those who haven't, and I'm sure there are plenty of you that are joining in now and you haven't seen or heard any of these videos, please subscribe and become part of the community, because this sort of information we've been discussing here for a while, and I'm sure you have too. Man United, financially, we are in the worst position I think I've ever seen us as a football club. That's why the Glazers have put us up for sale. In 2019, we as a football club had over £300 million cash in the bank. 300 million that we could have gone to the bank, withdrew, and had a party. Right now, we've got £24 million in the bank. In those 3 years, that cash has been absolutely decimated. At the same time, we as a football club are losing nearly £2.5 million per week. We are £200 million into an overdraft. We have £100 million more that we can take. But we as a club do not have cash, and that is effectively exactly what Liverpool have taken advantage of here. Liverpool have taken advantage of the fact that Manchester United, we were in negotiations with with PSV for Gakpo. Gakpo joining us would not have been a problem. We had the advantage with Gakpo. We went after Gakpo in the summer, before his breakthrough season with PSV, before his breakthrough World Cup campaign with the Netherlands. Ten Hag spoke to him. Gakpo wanted the move. He said he was disappointed that the move didn't happen. Personal terms wouldn't have been an issue. This is purely a financial situation. Nick, there's a comment from you down there. How you doing, buddy? You're saying word here in the Netherlands is that United couldn't pay enough cash up front. Liverpool just waited and struck at the right time. Our finances are hurting us now. Nick, this is exactly what has happened. It is purely a financial situation here, and this falls at the feet of the Glazers and how. Jesus, people are going to. Oh yeah, you don't sign a player. It's Glazers' fault. Yes, it is the fucking Glazers' fault. It always has been the Glazers' fault, and we have politely and angrily and protesting. We've done everything against the ownership. What we are seeing here is well, it's the culmination of our club being dragged down and down and down, and the fact that we do not have the cash. That's it. This is a pure cash situation, because Manchester United could have paid 50 to 60 to 70 million. We could have paid more for Gakpo, but we wouldn't have been able to pay that up front. And I think this Gakpo situation right there, we're looking at loans in January, aren't we? We're looking at loan deals. João Felix on a loan with a loan fee, with maybe an option to buy in the summer. That could happen. Probably more realistic than stumping up that amount of cash. Mate, it's cash is everything. And what you're saying down here, disagree with the advantage for him to review personal terms with the scum. I'm not saying that he had love for United. I'm saying that we had the advantage. We lost that advantage as soon as Liverpool came in and offered the cash that we weren't prepared to offer. I'm not saying that he had an affection for United, that he sat there and woke up to glory, glory, Man United. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm saying that we had the advantage. We were leading that race in the negotiations because we left first. We started first and we were further down the road. But we hit the roadblock of how much we were willing to pay. And look, it pains me to say this. Like, you have to admire what Liverpool just done there. They've absolutely just stolen the march, and they've got a player there. Look, as I said, in the grand scheme of how much players cost, 40 to 50 million euros. That's very, very cheap. That's really, really cheap. Josh, you're saying my sound is dropping out every so often. There's no reason why my sound should be dropping out. My mic is plugged in. My mic is plugged on. Everything is looking good. I have no idea why that would be. Maybe I'll just go down a little bit. I'm going to try and read a few of your comments out. It's an interactive show. Welcome to United People's TV. If you haven't been here before, and we're all reacting to this news. I wasn't expecting to go live tonight, but well, here we are. Lee, always a bridesmaid we are. What you're seeing here is effectively what you saw in the summer. I said I always maintain it. I remember the arguments we had in what was such an exhaustingly long summer. I said, I think we'll be happy at the end of this transfer window with the players that we signed. And I think we were at the end of it. Casemiro, Anthony, Martinez, Eriksson, Malacia, and Dubravka. We had a good summer in terms of the signings that we made. But in terms of how we operated as a football club, it was poor. It was really, really shit. We spent so long chasing Frenkie de Jong, and clearly that was without the guarantees that we all felt that must have been there for us to be stuck in the negotiations for that long. We went after Anthony and we paid, 100 million when we could have easily have signed him for 30 million, probably cheaper, earlier in the summer. Had we acted properly, decisively? But what it was it was stuck around the Glazers. And until we lost against Brighton and Brentford, the money wasn't there. We were chasing Arnautovic, for fuck's sake, and Rabiot. And all of a sudden, we're going from Arnautovic and Rabiot to Casemiro and Anthony. It goes to show you just how much any strategy that we had just got like ripped up and just thrown away. There was no strategy. Manchester United were cheaping out. And it wasn't until we lost those two things, those two games there against Brighton and Brentford, that situation unfolded. And this is now the latest example of that. This is just Liverpool taking advantage of an opportunity. I've been like, look, if you're looking at Liverpool's options up front, and I'm looking at Cody Gakpo, I mean, is he really someone that goes inside and changes their option? I mean, he gives them an option. Yes, he does. I mean, he's not exactly a player that they massively, massively need. But what we are looking at here is, I think Ten Hag, if I'll be completely honest, I think Ten Hag must be fucking furious. What's it? You let me know in the comments below. What do you think? How do you think Ten Hag will be taking to this news? When Ten Hag is asked about this before our game against Nottingham Forest tomorrow night, after the game against Nottingham Forest, and in the press conference as well, what do you think his reaction is going to be? Because he's been let down here. I think he's going to be really, really angry. Madhouse, you can come down here and say this in the comments. Say, look, has the window closed? Let's wait a bit. That is a ridiculous little photo you got there. What this has shown us is that Manchester United are approaching the January transfer window, and we are approaching the loan market again. Now, we signed Bruno Fernandes for, I think, what was it, 45 million in 2020? Was that it? No, 2019. And then, anyway, in the two subsequent January transfer windows, we haven't signed anybody. We haven't, well, not in terms of how much we've outlaid. We've got loan signings in, we've got emergency signings in, and obviously that's where we're heading towards now. And it won't surprise anybody when you look at Manchester United's finances. My question, which I've been asking, is, look, Man United have got £300 million worth of overdraft facilities at the club. With the bank, their overdraft is 300 mil. Right now, we use 200 million of it. So there's 100 million that we could take out. But our question that we were asking was, is our club being so poorly run, 24 mil cash in the bank, that's not even enough operating costs. So if Man United had no cash at all, nothing else coming in, we wouldn't be able to sustain ourselves with 24 million pounds cash in the bank. The business wouldn't run. We wouldn't be able to pay the wages. We wouldn't be able to pay the operating costs of the company. So that 100 million, we were questioning whether that was going to get used to actually, run the football club. And the fact that maybe we were willing to pay what PSV wanted, and Liverpool have just come in there and just taken advantage of our delays. But no matter which way you look at this situation, it doesn't look good for Manchester United, and it doesn't look good for what we want to see happen in January and what probably will happen in January. Because we're looking at loans. We're looking at small outlays of cash in January ahead of the club being sold. And once the club is sold, then we can have these all. But at the same time, Liverpool are currently going through a process of sale. We don't know whether FSG are actually going to sell in full. I think the Glazers are going to sell in full, given the scale of investment required in the club. I think it's a little bit of a different prospect. I'm going to go down and read a few of your comments down here because, as I said, this is a very charged conversation right now. Immediate reaction to it. Nishant, you're saying we don't need another left winger, number 10. centre forward or a right back, trust Ten Hag. I do trust Ten Hag, and I trust the fact that he looked at Gakpo, and I think he saw a player that he could mould. I think he saw a player that he could turn into what he wanted. I think Gakpo, I mean, he's a 23. He's the right profile of a player, I think, in terms of where he could fit in. But there's no fucking point in talking about how he's going to fit in a Ten Hag system. He's going Liverpool. A couple of super chats here. I don't want to miss these, and then I'm going to answer some regular comments. I do get accused of that as well. You get accused of everything online. I don't just read out super chats and nothing else. We had 2 months since the Morgan interview, and United have had their head stuck up there. You know what? No way we're getting Felix now. Felix is a different situation. Felix is, as I said, it's a loan deal. Felix wouldn't be an issue. And you're saying Ten Hag would have been fully aware of this. I don't think they would have dared to do otherwise. What do you mean? Ten Hag fully aware of what? Man United were in for Gakpo. Let's make no mistake about that. As I said, I spoke to Rick Elfrink on Friday, and he explained the whole situation. You know, Cody Gakpo wanted to join Manchester United in the summer. He's gone. He's had an interview where he's explained how he was upset that it didn't happen. He really wanted to join the club, and we really have we've done ourselves dirty there. I tell you that we really have done ourselves dirty there. 1 second here, just got to quickly sort something out. That's what happens when you go live. 1 second there. Right, there's nearly 2,000 of you watching here. Look, if you're new to the channel, please would you subscribe? I'd love to have you on board here because, well, I don't know what's going to be happening in January now. Parmentier, what are you saying down here? PSV lost 21 mil in 2021 with this 50 million euros. PSV can pay the debts. It's about money up front. It's about money up front and the lack of Manchester United having that money up front. It's I don't know what's going to be happening in January, but you let me know in the comments, right? What do you think this Gakpo situation means for United in January? Do you expect anybody to be signed? Because we need a signing. Even before Ronaldo leaving the club, we needed a signing. Even before the Glazers putting the club up for sale, we needed a signing. Neither of those two situations changes the fact that we need a signing. We need a new attacker. We need a new goal scorer. And you'll notice I'm not saying the word striker because I don't think, and this is my personal take and interpretation of what I've seen from Ten Hag and the way that I see this team going. I don't think he's looking for an Erling Haaland. I think he's looking for someone more like a Cody Gakpo. Someone more that he can mold into playing in versatile positions, can play through the left, can play through the middle if he needs to, can play in different positions. Some of you talking about Memphis Depay in the comments. I don't know whether that's a real thing or not, but is that really a thing? Dave, you're saying I wouldn't be surprised if Ten Hag says goodbye to United. The Glazers have totally ruined the club. I wouldn't go as far as that, Dave. I think that's a bit of hyperbole in the situation and exaggeration. Ten Hag's not going anywhere, but the Glazers are. The Glazers will be gone before Ten Hag leaves, right? We're stuck in this shitty little limbo situation where the Glazers want to sell. The Glazers have run the club financially into the ground. We have no cash to spend. We're run so badly as a football club that maybe that credit facility has to be used to run our football club. Man United as an entire club might be running on an overdraft. Just think about that. Think about that. Our revenues are in excess of 600 million. And we might about right now to be run on an overdraft. That is just a staggering thought. First I've ever said that. First thought that really. Ray, you're saying, please, someone hurry up and buy the club. We need saving. I really don't want Ten Hag to fail because we fail again. I don't think that Ten Hag has come in the right time, man. Like, wow. He has been the manager that we've asked for and called for some time. And Ten Hag wasn't backed in the summer. When we went into that summer transfer window, our budget was 100 million. Would have been the lowest spend that any manager has had post Fergie in his first summer transfer window. He was not backed. But after Brighton and Brentford, when the Glazers realised that their leeching of the club and their top four recycling and protect that they had leached so much value out of the legacy of Man United as a brand that they realised they had to spend this summer. We couldn't go another summer of just being an absolute joke of a club and another season of being a joke as a club because they realised that we were just The value of United as an asset was just on a downward trend without spending. But we spent so big in the summer. We spent horrendously in the summer. I'm telling you, we signed the right players. We spent horrendously. We spent 100 million on Anthony. We spent 70 million on Casemiro. Now, they're both good signings, but they are both overpriced signings. Martinez, we could Martinez, Anthony, and Casemiro, we could and should have got them for a combined 50 million cheaper, roughly. Could have had Cody Gakpo for that. Nick, didn't we use a big portion of our next summer's budget on Anthony Martinez, etc.? Surely Atletico won't let Felix go without an obligation to buy. Combined with us being for sale, that's a financial horror show. Of course, it's down to the wording of any deal there, Nick. It would be down whether it's an obligation or an option to buy. If Atletico really are serious about getting João Felix off their books financially, maybe they'll go for an option to buy rather than an obligation, because it does happen sometimes. But it feels like United are going into this January transfer window and we're looking at the loan market. We laughed and we joked. We might be seeing another Odi Nagalo situation here, ladies and gents. Now, I'm being deadly serious there. Wow. Did not need this. Madhouse, look. I know. We are skint. We really are skint. I want to repeat that sentence that I've just said there. Manchester United have got revenues in excess of 600 million, but we're effectively a club being run on an overdraft. That's how negligent the club has been run. That's how poorly the club has been run. That's how badly the club has been run. Despite our revenues being that big, that we are nearly £1 billion in debt and effectively being run off an overdraft. And it means that Liverpool have been able to just swoop in and agree a very, very cheap deal for Cody Gakpo. 40 to 50 million euros for a player of his quality, for the season he's had with PSV, for the World Cup he had with the Netherlands, tax, Premier League tax, and they still only pay 40 to 50 million euros? Wow. It pains me how good Liverpool are. This is not the first time they've done it. It won't be the last time they do it. And as I said, they've done all of this without Michael Edwards. I think there was somebody else who left who worked closely with Michael Edwards too. Liverpool are currently going through a restructuring situation. And they're still able to do this. It just goes to show how much of a shit show Manchester United are behind the scenes. An absolute shit show. That Liverpool can be in that situation. They can be up for sale without Michael Edwards, playing Aston Villa, and at the same time, they can agree a deal with PSV for Cody Gakpo, all the while that we're sat there trying to figure out and structure a deal for Cody Gakpo. We're there just like, what do you reckon about this one? What do you mean he's sold? He's gone where? Liverpool. That's what's happened here. Liverpool have just stolen a march. And I've got to credit them. Fair play to Liverpool. But it just exacerbates it just maybe not exacerbates. It highlights just how badly run we are as a football club. This is just the perfect example of why we fought so hard against the Glazers, why we will continue to do so. And Erik ten Hag is swimming upstream, man. He is swimming upstream until he has a set of owners who run this football club, getting the right people working. We're looking at John Murtough here. We're looking at Richard Arnold. But ultimately, they are doing the bidding of what the Glazers are telling them they can and they can't do. And what Manchester United can't do, clearly, in January, is spend that much cash. Otherwise, we would have agreed this deal with PSV quite easily. Look, as I said, that deal was 40 to 50 million euros. And Rick Elfrink told me that they wanted 75 to 80% up front. Let's work on simple maths here. If it was 40 million, roughly, let's call it 40, let's call it 50 million. Hell shit, let's call it 45, right in the middle. And they wanted 80% up front. Let me figure this one out here. That's a calculator. That's on the wrong screen. Over here. 45 times 0.8. Means 36 million euros upfront paid to PSV in January, and the rest paid in installments. Manchester United, therefore, don't have 36 million euros to spend on a player in January. Otherwise, we would have paid. Otherwise, Cody Gakpo would be a Manchester United player. But instead, Cody Gakpo is going Liverpool. And look, we can talk down here in the comments now. Like, Connor, you can talk about Gonzalo Ramos. I now would go as far as to say that those conversations are pretty damn mute. I would say those conversations are pretty irrelevant. I would say those conversations are pointless. Because if we had that money if we had 30 to 40 million, then we really would have gone out and we would have paid that money for Cody Gakpo. But instead, we haven't. And Liverpool have been able to come in and swoop and get it. I apologize to anybody who I've missed down here. Rotham, you've gifted 5 memberships, buddy. If anybody else has gifted any memberships during the stream, I really do apologize. These streams are crazy. As I said, there's 2,000 people watching. If you are new, please subscribe to United People's TV. I work really hard to make this community what it is, and I'm really looking forward to covering the whole January transfer window for you. So make sure you do subscribe and get involved in the community. It genuinely is a good community, man. Hossam, Vic, TW95, and Kikes, you are the lucky 5 there, and Nick as well. Nick, you said thank you very much to him. Keel, you're saying, look, can we do a video on Memphis? Look, we're going to have to do a video on Memphis. Look, Sean, this is a very good point down there, man. The protest tomorrow, look, if you're going to it, it starts at, where is it? Let me remember what, damn it, I forgot where it is. Let me just pull this up for you here. This is the march tomorrow at Gorse Hill, and that's it. Right. Before the game, so Manchester United tomorrow, of course, we're playing Nottingham Forest. If you're going to the game, I would implore you to get involved in this march. I was at the march there for the Liverpool game. This march won't be as big, I don't think, in scale, but it is really big in significance and importance. If you can be involved in it, go to it. It's going to start at the Gorse Hill pub, and it starts, there you go, the march starts at 7. It goes down to Mount Busby Way to the stadium, right? Get involved if you can. I'll be covering it on United People's TV as much as I possibly can. But this, as I said, this has come out of nowhere. It started from Paul Joyce in the Times, and it was covered by Chris Bascombe in the Telegraph, and it was covered by David Ornstein. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Liverpool really have just stolen the march on United. We wanted Cody Gakpo. We weren't willing to pay what PSV wanted up front. Liverpool were. Simple as that. If I'm looking at the transfer market now in January, I'm looking at this and saying, we're going after loan signings, right? We are going after the loan market. So that's a video that has to be done. We have to look who could be available on a short-term deal, maybe with an obligation to buy, maybe with an option to buy. Now, João Felix is going to be a name that gets thrown around. And if you're talking about players who don't particularly suit the situation, what we need, João Felix isn't a striker. Sure, he's a wonderful player that plays centrally, and he's kind of more of a number, kind of in the Bruno role, really, if we're being completely honest. I don't know. Let me have a look. Quite a few of you in the comments here, you telling me about a tweet from Fabrizio. Let me quickly check this out. This is live and direct. The news breaks, and I'm discussing it as you're saying there. Right, there you go. Look, Manchester United. Wow, how the hell did they get that quote from him so quick? Right. I don't think that's actually a response. We've lost a striker, so we need to bring a striker in, but it has to be the right one who brings quality into the team, not just adding to the squad. The criteria here is high here at Manchester United. That's Ten Hag. I don't think he's specifically speaking about Cody Gakpo there. I think he's just speaking in general about, the fact that Manchester United need a striker. Let me see what's going on here. I want to make sure that this isn't actually unfolding whilst I'm live on stream with you. Right, yeah, it's right. It's the embargoed press conference. Let me see what it's got. Howard Nurse from the BBC. Well, I'm not sure if that's completely true. Let me pull this one up. This is an interesting one from Howard Nurse. Howard Nurse writes for the BBC. Cody Gakpo was considered, but never a serious target for Manchester United. That kind of stinks like a brief. I'll be completely honest. That kind of stinks like a brief. Matt, you're saying can't add members from the phone. So here's this, Sam. Big ups to it, mate. Thank you very much, Matt. Nice to see you. It's a shame you couldn't join in on the live call-in show, but thank you very much for that. I'll be honest. I think he was a serious target for Manchester United. I'm not sure I quite believe that. Let me see what else is being said down here. Eric Ten Hag talking about Dean Henderson. I don't give a shit about Dean Henderson. Yeah. These comments from Ten Hag are the embargo part of the press conference. It's not really to do with any sort of reaction. They're just embargo comments that happened after the Burnley game, I believe. Right. Oh, look at that. 5 gifted memberships from Ibs. Man, thank you very much, Ibs. That's really nice of you. What an absolute don. What an absolute ledge. Look, even in these times on this community, man, where everyone's pissed, you're still getting gifts given to people. That's what I mean, man. Alan Jones, Danny's saying, Sam, don't stress. He's not that much of a loss. I mean, we can't say that with any sheer confidence. You can make your assumptions. Yeah, cool. But he may well be a fantastic player, and he may well be a huge loss. I think it's more what that means. It's more about what that means for the January transfer window. What that means in terms of who we're actually going to sign. What that means in terms of Ten Hag getting the attacker that he needs. I'm telling you, right now, the whole rest of our season, in my opinion, depends on whether or not Anthony Martial stays fit. I don't think he will. And that's crazy. It's almost as crazy as a club being run on an overdraft. And you're saying, look, I still believe in Ten Hag. It's going to take an extra 6 to 12 months to get to where he wants to be. No one's having any conversations about, all of a sudden we're going to have to take like a U-turn on Ten Hag or anything like that. No one's talking any crazy talk like that. But it's just, this is how badly run our club is financially. That situations like this can exist. Situations like this should not exist. As I said, we had everything. We had all the aces. Clearly not all the aces. We had the best opening hand. We've lost with pocket aces there. With Ten Hag approaching PSV in the summer and Man United, and Ten Hag speaking directly to Cody Gakpo, he wanted the move. Then Anthony was too expensive. Right, okay, we're going to park that. He stayed there. He said he was disappointed with the move, but we went in there early, before his breakthrough season, before his World Cup. Therefore, when we're starting the negotiations here, we're starting with the advantage. But still, we managed to lose with pocket aces. Man United is just such a badly run club, man. Tom Grant, nice to see you there joining. Let me know where you're watching from, dude. 18, you're saying, look, he's a winger. We need a striker. We have too many wingers as it is. And I've spoken about this in quite a lot of depth here now. In my opinion, Eric Ten Hag looked at Cody Gakpo and saw him as the sort of profile of a player that he can mould. Someone who can play on the left. And as he showed with the Netherlands at the World Cup, he can play centrally. And he also showed that he can play on the right-hand side. Gakpo's got versatility to his game. It's clearly one of his strengths. Now, you could say that you would prefer a specialist, to use Mourinho's word, like a Haaland, like somebody who he makes the penalty box his home. Someone like Ruud van Nistelrooy. And that's what we need more. And while there's part of me that does agree with that. Genuinely, there really is part of me that does agree with that. I look at how Ten Hag is playing, and I look at how we've played, and I look at the Spurs game as well, I suppose, as well. And I see what we've been best at. And I don't think that he's going to be signing a pure out-and-out number 9. I just don't think so. I just don't think that's the way he's going. I think he's going more towards what Liverpool had with Salah, Mane, and Firmino at their peak. A dynamic front three, full of energy for the 90 minutes, playing with a high press, but no one necessarily being that full focal point up front. Everybody can chop and change and interlink and interweave. And I think that's what he wants. And for me, that's why I looked at Cody Gakpo and I thought it made sense. Dan Watson, you're saying those chances Nunes misses, Gakpo scores. Not good for United. Gakpo will fly Liverpool to the top four whilst we will be stuck in Europa again. I mean, I hope you're wrong there, dude. But yeah, Darwin Nunes, who was outrageously compared to Andy Cole, had another poopy stinker for Liverpool. I think his ratio is insane. He's obviously struggling with the price tag and struggling with the move to the Premier League. And hey, Gakpo may well struggle too. Who's to say? But let's not try and pretend that this isn't a bad situation for Manchester United, that this isn't indicative of a club which is financially stricken, of a club which is really getting towards dangerous levels in terms of how much cash we've got as a football club, how much we're losing on a weekly basis. Nearly £2.5 million a week we're losing. Madness. That's why we didn't sign Gakpo. That's why Liverpool have agreed to sign Gakpo. And that's why Manchester United, I think now we can say with, in my opinion, quite a bit of confidence, we're approaching January in the loan market. If we didn't have the 40, it would have been around somewhere between the 30 to 40 million euro upfront cash fee. That's what PSV wanted, having confirmed that with Rick Elfrink. If we don't have that to spend on Gakpo, we're not going to be going and spending more than that on Enzo Fernandez. We're not going to be going and spending more than that on Gonzalo Ramos. It means that we're going to be looking more for a 2022 version of Odion Igalo. And that's just where we are financially as a club, because we really, really overspent in the summer because we were allowed to. We could do it on credit. That's why we owe it. Manchester United owe over 300 million in unpaid transfer fees to other clubs through deals that we have struck. Buying a player in 1 year, selling him across 5 years. That spreads the cost on the accounts. That's what Manchester United did in the summer. That's why we were able to sign players, why we could afford to sign players. And it's also why we're not able to afford to sign Cody Gakpo. This is purely, and I will reiterate this one more time, this is purely a financial situation that Liverpool have managed to take advantage of. And fair play to them. Arseholes. There's a couple of, I think there's a couple of members that have joined there. Rich, let me know where you're watching from, buddy. And you have been drinking and eating quite a lot over Christmas. And Kunku's already gone. We've got the here we go there on him already. Glenn, it's a good question that I think needs answering. If anybody's got any ideas or suggestions, you let me know in the comments below. And you let me know, my DMs are always open, that we're going to have these conversations now, because this, I think, is what is needed. Man United are going to be approaching the loan market for short-term squad bolstering options with the intention of then just pushing all responsibility away for signing the next Ronaldo replacement for Manchester United. Because ultimately, that's what Gakpo is being lined up as. Gakpo is not a Ronaldo replacement. He never would be. Would have been a good signing, though, for United. I think so, anyway. Ivan Toney, we're not going to touch with a barge pole because of the betting situation that's ongoing at this moment in time. Morata, who's mentioning Morata? Marcus Thuram. I think Thuram's an interesting one. I think we'll have a conversation about Thuram. Certainly will be, I don't know. Would he be that much cheaper than 30, 40 million? I'm not sure he'd be that much cheaper. Memphis Depay. Memphis is definitely an option. I think that we're going to have a conversation. And Malps, I swear, I wish we weren't going to be having a conversation about the loan market. But if we can't afford to pay somewhere in the region of 30 to 40 million euros up front for Cody Gakpo to PSV, then it shows that we are going to be approaching the loan market or a cash sum which is less than that. So either you reduce your expectations of what you want that player to be, or you approach the loan market. And if Man United is smarter of these two situations, you let me know. You can let me know what you think in the comments, eh? What's better for United here? Is it going out and spending somewhere in the region of, let's call it 20 to 30 million euros? Let's say we've got that as a budget of cash in January. Is it good to go out and spend that, or would it just be best to then go to the loan market? Don't try and sign somebody because in like 6-7 months' time, you probably won't want that player. That's what I would worry about. If we just went out there and we just signed somebody for the sake of signing somebody, we're going to get stuck with a player on big wages that we probably don't want. It's going to stick around for the club for a few years, and it's time to be smart. It's time to start hitting the bullseye. And Ten Hag hit the bullseye, man. In the summer, I think, maybe not, but look, we hit bullseye. We hit 25s and 50s in the summer with our transfers. We need more of them. And I genuinely, in my opinion, again, this wasn't a pure opinion, right? It's my interpretation of how I saw Gakpo, how I saw his progress, and where I saw him fitting in. I think he was going to be a 25 or a 50. I really do. I don't know whether that fits inside the Liverpool system, but I mean, look, Jurgen Klopp is a good manager. They are going to be a far better squad in the second half of this season. And in the same way that Liverpool backed Klopp and they brought Luis Diaz, and he had a massively influential impact on the second half of their season, even though they lost the Premier League, of course, and the Champions League. Luis Diaz transformed the second half of their season. They're going to hope that Cody Gakpo can have the same one there. Lots of you talking about Memphis down here. I mean, have I really got to have a conversation about Memphis? Really? That just I'm not trying to be too unfair on him, but come on. Really? Depay and Rashford would be a monster. I mean, go back in the day. Any free agents? I mean, we can take a look at that, but that's what we're doing, man. We're United are acting like the kid in PE who's forgotten his kit and he's going around the back of the bin. He's like, oh man, it's a pair of like sweaty socks, like filthy shorts. And he's like, oh, yeah, go on, I'm gonna have to use them. I've got no other choice. That's what United are doing. That's what we're going for. Our options are limited by our finances. Our finances are limited by the fact that the Glazers own us. We are limited until the Glazers sell us. We are stuck in, you can call it whatever you want, but Manchester United as a football club are stuck in limbo. We are stuck in treacle, and it's because it's so expensive to compete at the very, very top. Takes a wallet which is significantly bigger than it ever used to be. And you look at what Newcastle are doing right now. They're second at this moment in time. And they've... My God. Some of you, look, you mentioned in Harry Kane in the comments. Memphis will prove you wrong. João Felix. Colo, Makuku. Makuku's an interesting one. But again, if am I looking at him as the solution? I don't particularly think so. Yeah, look, remember Felix. Yeah, I know that. Felix is a value that it's insane. Oh, and I see you there, buddy. What are you saying? Would rather hit the loan market. Apparently, Felix is available for a loan fee, 8 million fee, which is worth covering the wages. It's an absolute no-brainer. But I'm looking at João Felix, and I'm looking at a player who, in my opinion, we're talking about how Cody Gakpo didn't suit exactly what we needed. João Felix, man, like, that really doesn't suit what we need. And I'm saying that I'm looking at how could he play alongside Bruno? You could say they did it at the World Cup, but it's just, I don't know. But United need to make a signing in January that can bolster our attacking options. If that's going to be João Felix on loan, certainly better than nothing. And I'm not going to turn my nose up at that. Ahmad would be like a new signing. Nah, man, leave Ahmad at Sunderland. He's really enjoying a good loan spell. Don't think we need to be bringing him back here to get 10 minutes here or there. Personal opinion. Jonathan David. Now, of course, lots of people mentioned him before. Didn't have the best of World Cups with Canada, but I did enjoy watching him play. There is a lack of available number 9s. And as I said, John, I don't particularly think that we're looking at number 9s. Again, that's my personal interpretation, but I don't. That's why I think we were looking at Cody Gakpo. Pull this up on screen here for anybody who's just joined in here. How many people are watching? We've got way over 2,000 of you watching here. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's late. It's Boxing Day. I was out enjoying myself, and all of this decided to break, so I came back. So please, if you would, drop a like on the video and subscribe to United People's TV. I'm going to be covering the transfer window in as much detail as I possibly can with as informative and hopefully somewhat insightful videos. Might be something that you don't see elsewhere. So if you do enjoy it, make sure you subscribe. I'd love to have you on board. And obviously, I'll be covering the game tomorrow. I'll be covering the protest tomorrow. Football's back, man. Football's back tomorrow. And I've got to be honest. I'm gutted. I am gutted that Gakpo's going to Liverpool. I really looked at him and I saw, in terms of how I've looked at Ten Hag's signings so far and the impact that they've had, and also just the way that Ten Hag has coached them into being better players. I looked at Cody Gakpo and I saw somebody who could really, Ten Hag could take him under his wing and turn him into a top player. I'm gutted, man. I can't deny. I think Liverpool have done well. Let's see if it works out underneath Jurgen Klopp. But Jurgen Klopp is a very good manager too. Let's not pretend he's not. And I think that's going to be a good signing for Liverpool. And yeah, it just stings. Fucking stings because it's Liverpool as well. I'm going to go down there. I'll read a few more of your comments out now, and then I'll wrap up. And I'll be here tomorrow morning as well. What are your thoughts on a fit Martial leading the line? Rich, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with Martial leading the line, but I'm realistic in saying that I know that he's not going to be fit every week. I know that it will not happen. We absolutely need another goal scorer who can play centrally. I saw Cody Gakpo, as he proved with the Netherlands at the World Cup, he could do that. Well, let's find out. David Robinson, you're saying, is it correct or just a rumor? It's right there, man. Official from PSV. It's done. Cody Gakpo. Fuck's sake. Let's have a conversation in the morning as a community. If it's not going to be Cody Gakpo, who can we attack in the loan market? Not physically attack. Who can we try and go after in the loan market that actually could make an actual genuine difference to the rest of our season? It's not just about getting a body in. It's about getting the right player in. It really is. There's a comment there from Tom saying this. Vlahovic, David, or Felix? Well, you can let me know. We can have this conversation tomorrow morning, Tom. So make sure you tune in. I won't forget that. Zlatan, all problem solved. Romario. Oh, God. Jeez. Look, if you can't laugh, you cry. I didn't expect to be doing this live this evening, but I did. So thank you very much, everyone who did join in. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed. Big up to everyone who gifted memberships. But make sure you come here tomorrow morning, 9:30 sharpish, because we're going to have a conversation ahead of our game against Nottingham Forest tomorrow night, and we're going to find out directly from Ten Hag. He'll be asked about Gakpo. We're back in business, all right? The festive period is over. Football's back. And United are back doing, well, I suppose what United do in the transfer market. We are just inefficiently run. And Liverpool, they've taken advantage of it. And they've gone and signed Cody Gakpo ahead of us.